crowd goes wild.
What? You shocked me. You startled me, man.
You know I love to startle you just a bit.
Well, thank you for that. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Angela Montoya. I can't not do this welcome to the show bit because it throws me off the rest of the time if I don't say welcome to the show. I don't know what else to do with myself if I don't do it. I'm Angela Montoya, like Melanie said, author of Sinner's Isle. Please, for the love of God, buy Sinner's Isle. Please buy it. Buy a copy for yourself, for every person you've ever met. You know, just hand them out on the street. You know what I mean? And if you can't, request it at the library. You know, let's band together and get this going. Right, Melanie?
That's a good idea. I'm going to go request it at my local ones.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Is it out in paperback? I've been seeing some paperbacks. What's going on?
It is like in other countries, I guess. I guess how would I know? I don't know, Melanie, until I see it. And I saw a friend post about it in Germany.
Yeah. Fuck.
Which is awesome.
Sorry. Should I say less fucks this episode? I'll drop a few less fucks. Just a couple.
Yeah, okay. We need how many fucks are we saying this episode? Do we need to have a countdown?
Ooh. I'll say Scheiße instead. I'll get a bit German for the German copy. There's a bit left field.
to celebrate that Sinner's Isle was spotted in Germany. Yeah. We will say Scheiße.
Scheiße.
I don't know. Is that how you even say that?
Scheiße. Okay. The only words I know in German are Scheiße and Augenbraue, which is eyebrows.
Can you explain how you know that?
I cannot. I cannot for the life of me remember why that is the word I know. It's like deep childhood memory.
Well, it's okay. I mean,
it's serving Augenbraue on fleek.
I'm here for that. Oh, I don't know if I introduced you. Okay. I'm here with the amazing Melanie Schubert. Melanie is over here, stunning as always in her purple hairdo. Melanie, how in the F are you?
I'm in the zone. I'm good. I'm like in this super ADHD focus zone, drafting out this anthology submission for the Alcrate anthology. I'm so seriously, I am worshipping at your altar for reminding me, because honestly, I didn't, sometimes the algorithm lets you down. I was following all the right things, but I didn't see it come up that they had opened and the deadline is tight. Although our friend Alyssa just said that it might have been extended, but yeah, when I saw the deadline was from when they opened and gave the theme to when it closes was like a week.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was tight. Yeah, it's tight. But I came up with a concept and I was like, actually, I love that. And I actually think I work really well with a theme. I was saying that about the other anthology that I got into, having the theme of revenge, vengeance, whatever, it really, and you have to fit this into X amount of words. It's kind of the same thing, because knowing I had such a limit of time to do it, once I came up with an idea that kind of gave me that fire, I was like, don't pick it apart. You have the fire, run with that and see where it goes. So I did. I drafted that bad boy out in 24 hours. The first draft was 6,500 words, 6-ish thousand. And the entry is between 6 and 8. So it was perfect, because now as I'm almost finished my first revision on the piece. Now Amazing. It's plumping up to I think we're going to be closer to 8 then. Yeah.
Dang, look at you. And I just love this for you. I love short stories and anthologies. It feels like more and more we're seeing them.
Yeah.
Be printed. I just got a really beautiful one relit. Sandra's.
Sandra's.
Yes.
Yay.
I don't know where I put that. It's not over here, but it's gorgeous. And so I just love seeing all these really cool anthologies. I mean, for one, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's like it feels like it really like helps you kind of like work out that writer muscle of just like giving yourself a challenge.
Yeah.
And it's not overwhelming because it is only what, like 6,000 to 8,000 words or give or take. So yes, bring on the anthologies, you know what I mean? And I just
agree.
feel like, especially with like querying and being on submission and all that, it takes so damn long. And you're kind of just sitting there with one project. Why not explore what else you can do? So I love this.
That's it right there. And honestly, that's the thing I'm most grateful about. Like doing these anthologies, like getting in is like the crowning jewel, but like doing them kind of took my focus away from like writing another book right now or waiting in the query trenches, which like, I'll be honest with you, like I was probably like just too fixated on it. And it's funny, like our friend Christine, she put a post up yesterday about like neurospicy people going through like these seasons. What did she call it? I don't remember what a transitional period. It's like a term. I mean, it doesn't sound like a fancy term, but like apparently it's a neurospicy thing to go through these periods and they can feel really dark and depressive. And I think when we moved here that I've been going through one, and it's only like quite recently that I found myself like on the other end of that, you know, not feeling that kind of disoriented feeling. It's kind of cool to put like words to it and just be like, yeah, like there are these seasons you go through that like feels like depression basically, but it's like a season of transitional change, like hashtag probably a bit depression, but like having stuff.
Did you have to add the hashtag in there?
Just cancel me. Just cancel me.
Was the hashtag necessary?
I'm so
hashtag
wanky.
Depression.
I'll delete that part.
No, don't. It's hilarious. I love it. Hashtag depression.
Okay, embarrassing fact. I am that person who says lol, like I verbally say lol, and I leave myself little notes, hashtag this, hashtag that. I know how wanky it is. I hate
love it
for it, but it just happens. It's like
embrace
a footnote.
It.
Yeah, it's like a footnote to myself. Like,
yes.
But like, I don't want to minimize how intense it was, is why I added the hashtag, you know, because the feeling, the feelings are super intense. It was cool to like just be like, oh, once again, my community around me already knows, they've already gone through these things. But yeah, like, I think, like I've said before, I think you need a bit of obsession to do this, to pursue this career. But obsession is a fickle beast. It can be fire and joy and passion, and it can also look like depression when it's not on the high. And I just think, coming back to the anthology stuff, like it really brought me back to like, fuck, I'm good at this. Like, I love this. I'm good at this. And I think I had forgotten that in the process of like, we know how long these journeys are. Like, just listening to Abigail talk again, I was like, you dumb bitch, stop doubting yourself, just keep going, because
you were calling Abigail. Wait, you were calling Abigail?
No, me.
Just kidding. I wanted to clarify.
No. It's just like listening to her and being like, yeah, like we all have these long journeys and it is really hard, but sometimes in the process of like in the like flow of continuous rejection, it can be hard to not question that why you started, why you continue. And doing the anthology is just like, it really, having like a short, succinct story. So I see, can you hear Goose popping off?
Yeah.
She probably hears Smokey. She hears Smokey rattling. Hey, baby, he can hear me. Hey, Smokey.
No, he can't because I have headphones on.
Oh, for pity's sake. He felt my essence.
He did. He was like, wait, is that Melanie I smell through the camera?
I was a tangent, but all of that is to say that the joy and just the reminder that I'm a bad bitch and how much I love these anthologies, like the Severed Cape, the like more horror one, it was like definitely pushing to the scariest side of what I write, but I'm still really proud of that. And it's really cool. What I'm writing now for me is the perfect merger of everything I love, and it's got the horror, it's got the fantasy, it's got the spice. And I'm just like, for the first time, I'm really leaning into all the tropes I love. Whereas historically, I've kind of been like, well, that's been done. Well, newsflash, Melanie, it's all been done. Do the tropes you like and do it your way. So
hell yes.
I'm really excited. And like, whether it gets in or not, I've had a blast writing it, and I'll sub it other places if it doesn't get in there.
Yes,
but it's been
exactly
so fun.
it.
Yeah.
I love that. But I mean, and I've been even feeling this myself, of just like the come down of debuting Sinner's Isle. And it is interesting because, and it's not like a personal thing, but I do remember somebody asking me weeks ago. Oh, I think it was Deborah Crosland, who was my In Conversation like host for my very first signing. She was like, well, the week after debut is kind of like, it can be depressing because all of a sudden you don't hear from anybody, not like readers, but like your team, that has been like supporting you. All of a sudden it kind of goes quiet. And it's true. It like it's gone quiet, but it's not like a personal thing. It's just that we're moving on, for one. So it's not completely quiet because I'm working on a Cruel Thirst, but it does go from all of this excitement to not much. And then working on a Cruel Thirst, I'm on my copy edit, so we're getting really, really close, and I love it so much. It's really, really shaping out to be like such a sweet book. Like the end, like it's just so sweet. And but like I finished it, and I'm like going through, I'm reading through it, and as I'm reading, I'm going through like ups and downs of, oh man, I could have done so much better. Why did I do this? And then I'll read the next chapter or paragraph or line, like, wow, this is really great. And then I'm, I'm working on this, and then I'm thinking of another book that I want to try and pitch. I'm thinking of an anthology. So like my brain is so scattered. Yeah. But I almost feel like I was going through these like little moments of, maybe it's too much. Like, when is this, when is it going to be, I can't maybe do it, or I'm going to reach my max, or, I don't know. There's just so much to writing and to being a writer. Like, it's all hard at times. It's like you have like the highest of high.
I'm hugging you through the screen right now. That's really real what you're sharing. And don't ignore that feeling, because it's going to be up to you to set the boundaries that you're comfortable with. It's really hard, and you are hot property. There's going to be demand on Angela Montoya and her books and her work. And you're going to have to fight to protect what's comfortable for you, because I think I was talking about this on Kelly and Rocky's show. I was talking about this as well. Like, there's a lot of conversation in our beloved writing community about burnout culture and mental health, but there's not a lot of action. I consistently see people burning themselves out anyway, because you've got to have a hustle and grind as well, and you've been hustling and grinding for so long. Like, all your feelings that you're having now are completely valid and understandable, because it's time for a bit of a break, but you're having to continue to hustle for another deadline. And like, you being the incredible marketing genius that you are, because you are, but you're already trying to preempt 20 other books. You're already trying to plan out your 20-year career. And I am here to tell you, you don't have to do it. Not right now. Not right now. You're going to have to go task by task, because otherwise you will burn out. You can't contain it all in there at all times, trying to think about it, because it gets very dark very quick and very stressful very quick. So that's your body. No, that's your body telling you to protect yourself. That feeling of, can I keep doing it? You freaking can, because you're a legend. And because you were made for this. This is your...
Yeah. No, thank you for one. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I think that's it, is my body is like, okay, like you really and truly cannot do all the things. And I have for so long gone so hard on social media. And even still, I feel like, oh, I didn't do enough. Like, I could have done.
I cannot stand by. I cannot.
I know.
I'm trying to shut up and listen, but no, I
Shut up and listen to me, Melanie. Shut up and listen to me.
I cannot remain silent while you say that. I do not know another person. I know I'm not on the talk, but the talk is some kind of other toxic culture. It'll burn itself out. But I do not know anyone on Instagram who has hustled as hard as you. So I forbid that comment. I forbid it.
Okay. I appreciate that. I thank you. I do. No, you're right. And it's all this weird sort of like self-talk of like, and it's toxic self-talk of, oh, I could have done more. I could have done more. Maybe if I had if I was funnier or more profound or whatever it was, I could be out more. And it's truly, it is toxic, because
it is toxic.
And still to this day, oh my gosh, my brain's going blank. Who said it? But was it? Anyway, I'm sure you'll remember. But someone told us, keep your eye, like block out the noise.
Sarah Hashem.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Sarah Hashem. Exactly. Like block it out. Block out all the noise and stay focused. And I feel like a debut is a weird thing, because you are seeing all these other people publishing right around the same time as you, and you're seeing, and I felt so loved and well taken care of with my own imprint, and I think they killed it, as like they really were great, and I have no complaints. But then you see other people getting other things or doing other things, and yet I still had an amazing experience. I was like, oh, that would have been cool too. So it's like this weird sort of like,
that's what makes you wonder, is that what you mean? Because there's these other checkpoints that weren't part of your journey. Is that what kind of triggers that talk in your head? Like, oh, if I did this,
I think that's exactly what it was. Where I didn't follow my own advice of like keeping your eyes on your own paper and like looking at other people's lunch boxes and be like, damn, that looks good. You know what I mean? That was me always, because a girl loves snacks. But but like, I so many amazing things, and yet my brain goes, oh, you could have done better. If you had done better, maybe you would have gotten to do this too. And no, like, no, bitch.
No.
It's not.
I'll tell you a secret that I'm learning.
Okay.
There is no point, no achievement, no success in your life that will switch that off. You have to switch it off yourself. You have to switch it off and be happy where you are, because and I'm not saying that as like a settle, like always have that fire, always strive for more. But if you can't, like, I mean, this, because I'm having to learn this myself, like, I think when I was like starting to like hustle at this, oh my gosh. And like, I roll my eyes now at that girl who was like, I'll be the next Laini Taylor by next year. But you've got to kind of start with that, at least that level of arrogance to keep going for a long term.
Hell yes.
Like you've got, I do think you have to have that kind of like self-belief. But at the same time, I am realizing that my priorities for what I want are shifting, and like my focus is becoming on it, going to the right people and the right spaces, and hustling in a way that is long-term, that is manageable for me. And like, because like I realized the other day, I was like, oh, like actually it's not one of my goals to be a New York Times bestseller. I thought maybe it was, because that was just like one of those standard things that people dream about. I was like, no, actually, that's not really, like, if it happens, freaking awesome, I'll celebrate. But like, also I realized, no, actually, like, as long as I can have a like career doing this and like make some kind of income doing it, I'm going to be fucking living my best life. But like, I actually had to have those conversations with myself to work out what it was. And that's not to say don't have that goal if that's a goal for you. but like appreciating the points along the way and the successes you have. Like it's like it won't naturally come. We're not brought up that way to be like, well, I did this and it feels so good. Yay, me. We just not like, we're brought up to pick it apart and we're like, well, but if I had have done this, then I would have got that. And that's shame on me for not doing it. That's the reason I'm challenging it, just because I know it's all of our tendency to just pick apart ourselves. And actually, I saw the other day, I want to do what Court did. I don't know if you saw her stories. She made a board of all the things like that have really, or like a lot of the things that have like brought her joy and meaning along this journey. Because there is so many elements we can't control. And I was thinking about that. Like I actually like ugly cried the other day when I tweaked my bio to add the anthology thing into it. Because I was like, I was feeling a bit frozen and stuck, like things weren't moving. And I actually read my bio, like not as a agent submission thing, just as I was tweaking it, I just read it and I was like, fuck. I was like, Melanie Schubert has her own podcast, got into pitch wars, has been accepted into this anthology, won a competition to have her first book published by an indie press, has written multiple large-scale productions for a performing arts company. And I just like sat there crying. I was like, why do I still tell myself I'm not doing enough?
Yes, bitch.
So I want to say the same. That's why I'm sharing that, because I kind of, it's funny, you and I, we often sync up in our heads.
Yes.
And yeah, like I very recently just went through that, like being like, hang on, look at this. You are doing it, you dumb bitch. Me again.
You can call me that too, because yes, I'm a dumb bitch.
You are doing it, you dumb bitch. And like, you glorious, magical. No, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when I call someone else that. But anyway, I'm sorry. She got ranty. When I hear my friends talking down on themselves, if you could see yourself through my eyes, how bright you're shining, you would never let yourself talk down to yourself. So like, I can't stop my rants, but I will shut up again.
No, never shut up, because everybody loves your rants, because it's from the heart for one, but you always have the best advice because you're living through it first. You know what I mean? So you're like,
it's not casual advice. It's like she's climbed through the depths of the darkness to claim the light.
Yes, exactly. You have lived through this shit and now you're here to help us all. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad it is helpful to people, because but that's probably why I force myself to share, because when people have said the same to me, I've found it like so encouraging and just like life-changing in little ways, like little big ways that creep up on you. So I will always keep saying those things in case it does help someone when they're feeling in that space. And yeah, just like I said, be gentle with yourself. It is like a massive like cliff to be pushed off debut from like what I see. And like, but with being pushed off a cliff and like, go fly, fly. But like sometimes you fall a bit too, and you're like, shit, I have to work out how to use these wings. So you're just in the process of learning how to use these wings, but they're there, and they're
there. And this is just
doing amazing.
Thank you. I keep telling myself, like, this is just the first. Like,
exactly.
I don't think I would be ready for it to be like a New York Times bestseller. I mean, of course, like we said, that would be amazing. But she's just the first she's my first baby. Like, I need to chill out. I put so much pressure on myself to like, she needs to be out and like have all these reviews and be read by, and sold and all this stuff. But it's just my first thing. It's my first time doing this.
And it's the first month. It's like the first months of it happening. Like, just remember, like, books are like, they take their time for people to read them, for people to settle in. Like, But although I will say, like, I do see a New York Times seller in your future, like, just putting that out there, like, that is going to happen.
Manifest. We're manifesting.
We are manifesting it.
Manifest. Okay, Melanie, I have to tell you, I have to confess something. So I don't know if you saw in our Discord.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I saw.
Okay, Jill 2 came on the Discord and she said LOL about, I just said LOL, about me getting stuck in the bathroom at the airport. I remember how I told this last week. If you guys didn't listen, it's okay. I accidentally got myself stuck at the bathroom at the airport. I didn't tell you guys the whole story, okay? I was too embarrassed to tell this whole story. It's bad.
Tell it. Did you poop yourself? Did you poop your pants? You pooped yourself?
No, but let me, kind of, okay? Let me just tell you. Okay. Hold on. Let me just gather myself. Okay. So it was before my first flight. So my stomach she was nervous. So I went into the bathroom and I did my business. I tried to get everything out because I didn't want to like go to the bathroom on the plane. So normally, right, you get up, we're putting on, or pulling up our pants, whatever, and the toilet will automatically flush for you, right?
Will it?
Okay. In many like American bathrooms, the toilet automatically flushes.
I think I see where this is going.
Okay. You guys don't have a magic toilet in Australia?
Some of them, but it's not all of them. It's like
right, not everywhere, okay, but this is a newer airport.
Yeah.
So we have magic toilets. So the toilet didn't flush. Okay.
Yeah.
So I turned around just to press the button to flush it for me, or flush. It starts to flush. A droplet of toilet water with my pee and poo. A droplet flies in the air and hits me in the eyeball.
No. Are you serious? That's like my worst nightmare.
Mine too. It was a nightmare I didn't know I had. Okay. What? So it hits me in the eyeball, Melanie. And I can't get out. I can't get out of the stall because it's locked and I can't unlock it. And so my eyes shut. I'm panicking. I'm trying to unlock the door. I can't get out, Melanie. So I'm like this, and I'm panicking. Okay, eventually I get out. I run to the wash basin, and I'm thinking, oh no, I'm gonna get pink eye for myself.
That was my first fear.
Yes, it was mine too. So I get to the bathroom, I'm scrubbing my eye, and I just bought this cheap mascara that was terrible. And so I'm scrubbing, and the mascara is all down my face, and I can't get it off for the life of me. I couldn't get the mascara off my face. So yeah, I had a lot of looks in the bathroom. I eventually got the mascara off. I redid my makeup. I didn't get pink eye, but I have to tell you, I was nervous. I gave myself pink eye.
I was so afraid. And like right before you're meant to do all these events, it's like the universe tarred and feathered you.
I know. For one, I was already just like, really? Okay, for one, I get shit in my eyeball. Okay. And then I get locked in the damn bathroom. Like, really? What?
That's quite possibly the funniest story I've fucking heard in my life. Like, oh my gosh. Why does it like that was uncontrollable? That was like just the freaking worst luck of life.
I mean, I've never felt so violated.
Yeah.
So
And then you're washing your eye and your makeup is smudging and you like look like the beast of apocalypse or whatever.
I didn't want to get pink eye. That was my main thing. I was like, if I fucking get pink eye on my way to Y'all Fest, and I'm like,
there's
really?
no saving that. Like, you just can't really hide it.
You can't hide pink eye. And then I'd be like, oh yeah, I gave it to myself.
Got shit in my eye.
So,
ow. I'm really impressed you shared that with us.
I obviously had no plans to. Last week I thought, oh, I'll just tell about me getting stuck and leave it at that. But that's not the full story.
I am deceased. I am the clamped. I'm deceased. I may shit myself.
Yeah, just be careful, guys. Be careful how you flush that toilet. Keep your face away.
Look, these ones. From now on, you've unlocked new trigger, new phobia. When you flush public toilets, you can be like, oh, hide myself.
Yes, I do. I do from now on. Face to the side. We are not looking.
And as a side note, I just love how we sacrifice ourselves for good content for this podcast.
It's really therapeutic. It's really therapeutic because I probably would have gone to the grave with that one. I would have gone to the grave.
It's so much more fun getting it out though.
Yeah. Just let that shit
not
fly.
Intended, but like delightful. It is fun sharing it. And the thing is, these things happen to everyone. Like I think that's something I love about K-drama. I'm watching this random one about a hotel or whatever. It's not grade A. It's more of like a grade B K-drama, but I'm kind of living for it. And like, yeah, it's those little shocking moments where like something like, oh, I think she shat herself. And
it happens.
It happens. We should just talk about the shit in our eye.
Yeah. Had I got pink eye, I don't know if I would have admitted it. Luckily I came out fine.
You would have been sweating every day though, checking like.
I did. Like that when I woke up the next morning, I ran to the bathroom and I was like, veg. But I'm good. There was no pink eye to be had.
All I can think of is how like Jess Parrott is not going to be able to breathe when she watches this episode. She's the queen of poop stories, and this one takes the cake. Luckily, it didn't take the pink eye.
Thank the writing gods. They were smiling down upon me with their little cloacas up their tight.
Smiling cloacas now.
Yeah.
I did read recently, this could be fake news, but I read recently that there is some animal that developed teeth down there. I have to double check what it was. This is a real thing. The horror stories.
Shut the F up.
I read it. I mean, it was probably on a reel, so it could be fake news. But no, I think it was it a turtle? Or a shark, maybe? Anyway, I'll look it up for next episode. Something has teeth down there. Might have been a clam, but then clam. Okay, ignore that part. Clams don't have. Yeah, okay, just forget that part.
Please come back next week and let us know.
I will come back and let us know. Should we
in
read the bio before we get distracted?
Yes.
But thank you for that story. I will cherish that one forever.
You're welcome.
And the thing is, these things happen to me, like, especially like going to an event, something important. That's always when those most embarrassing moments happen. I don't know if it's because you're rushing and you just do things a little bit different, but my goodness, the number of times those genre of things have happened to me right before I'm about to go into a crowded room or like talk to a bunch of people. It is very unfair, but
it's a minefield.
It's a minefield.
Well, let's get into this bio before anything bad happens.
That sounds so ominous. Do you want me to read it? Or do you want to read it?
No, I think I've talked enough.
Okay. I'll give you a second to recover. So our guest today, I'm just really phlegmy today.
I just got phlegmy too.
I'm so phlegmy. I ate a bunch of cheese. I do this white cheese pasta. It's like it's kind of like, I don't know if you'd call it Croatian mac and cheese, but you do it with like feta and sour cream and like caramelized onions instead of like a traditional mac and cheese. It's it's so good. And I ate a boatload of it last night, and I'm just like, I can feel it. I can feel it. All that said and done.
Yeah. Get into the bio, Melanie. Get into the bio.
The bio. We are so freaking lucky to have had on the show the Abigail Hing Wen, who works at the intersection of storytelling and technology. She's a New York Times bestselling author, woman in tech leader, specializing in artificial intelligence, a filmmaker as well as mother of two. She writes and speaks about tech, AI ethics, which we need, women's leadership, implicit bias, equity, and transforming culture. Abigail penned the New York Times bestselling and national bestselling novel, Loveboat TAIPEI, and companion novels, Loveboat Reunion and Loveboat Forever. She executive produced, I got too cocky. She executive produced the film adaptation of the Paramount Plus original film, Love in Taipei, based on Loveboat TAIPEI, and starring Ashley Liao, Hunger Games, as Eva Wong, and Ross Butler, Shazam, as Rick Wu. I wasn't ready for Shazam. I'm just going to cut a bunch of me out. Are you there? You're very quiet. I can't see you.
Yeah?
No, because I've got the thing up. So I was like, did she cut up? Because you were so quiet. And Ross Butler, Shazam as Rick Wu. What does it mean, Shazam? Oh,
it's a movie. It's a movie called Shazam.
I didn't realize that part. Okay.
It's just a random word. You're like, Shazam.
Yeah. That's what I didn't realize. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying for me. She and her work have been profiled in Entertainment Weekly, The Hollywood Reporter, NBC News, Forbes, Fortune, Cosmopolitan, Bloomberg, 17, Google Talk, People, and Espanol, South China, Morning Post, and The World Journal, among others.
Woo-wee.
Did we just have a queen on the show?
I think so. Holy Shazam.
Holy Shazam.
Shazam. Yes.
Holy cloacas.
Yeah, we try to keep this episode real professional. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But we didn't say the F word as much.
As much. I was gonna say I definitely said it at some point, but not as much. We deserve an award for that.
I think so. We deserve an award for having such an amazing guest on.
She deserves an award. I'm sure she's won a bunch. But yeah, she's just so sweet and so insightful. And yeah, it was kind of cool to like just see someone who's been doing it for so long. And like, yeah, like she's really a force. She's really a force. Like I felt quite in awe talking to her and just being like, okay, you keep hustling and like, this is where you can go. Like,
heck yes. Inspirational. Inspirational.
I'm gonna let you go and have a nap, my friend. Can I leave that in though? Inspirational.
Hey, that's a new word. Hello.
Hi. It's so nice to see you both. I love the purple hair.
Thank you.
Yes, Melanie is an icon. She's always has the most beautiful colors in her hair. So it's wonderful. Yeah, well,
Angela, I'm enjoying the Santa sign in the background. Let's take brother. That's perfect.
Yeah.
This is so fun. Yeah, we've been really excited to have you on. And so let's just get into it because I want to know everything. We want to learn all about you. We just started something new and fun on the show where we're just asking 3 random facts about our guests.
Yep.
And so the first one is, what is the strangest thing you own?
So I actually think it's my Yeti microphone, which I should have brought as a show and tell, but I got it because I was hosting Intel's AI podcast. And so I got one, but it's like this huge mic. It's like this big, looks like a big ice cream cone. And I just have one.
Love that.
I
need to look
pandemic as it turned out.
Yes, I'm gonna need to see a photo later. It sounds amazing.
That's funny. Okay, let's see. What's number 2? Oh, okay. What is something you think about way too often?
Well, lately it's actually The Crown. I binge watched the last, well, it's 4 episodes and there's 4 more coming. But I was obsessed with Princess Diana when I was growing up in Ohio. And I think what I'm struck by is how the narrative has really changed around her. At the time that she was killed in the crash, like I was sad, but like I remember hearing all these like British families like saying that she was like the silly girl and taking up airtime. But I love the way they have redeemed her story, and especially her romantic relationship with Dodie, who I was like, I heard it was a very different narrative when I was growing up, and now I'm like, it was so well done. So I've been thinking about it way too much, as you can see already.
I love it.
I always find it so interesting when you do look back at how different the story truly went. So I'm a sucker for all of that. I'm watching, we just watched the first episode. I think there's only 3, but it's like a docuseries about JFK and his assassination, and then what, like the days after. And you hear about it, like learn about it in school, but it's all like all the footage has been remastered and it just feels so much more real and visceral. And it's so it's wild. But
it's kind of like the original cancel culture, though. I mean, isn't it? That mob mentality of like, if everybody was thinking it, everybody thought it. And it's like, I think we're being encouraged to question that as time goes on.
Heck yeah. Question everything, damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, number 3 is our hardest hitting question, which is, what is your favorite ice cream?
Ooh, mint chocolate chip.
Oh, good one.
Good choice. Good choice. I've only recently started a love affair with mint choc chip, and I don't know, I didn't really like mint flavored things when I was younger, but yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah, you were missing out for many years, but it's not too late.
I think it was K-drama that brought me to it. There was when a character's eating something and this one character was obsessed with it and he just kept eating, and I was like, I need it now.
I did not know. I'll have to get the name afterwards.
Yes. Well, now that we've got that out of the way, can you please tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? If they don't already know, I feel like they already do, but yeah, tell us everything.
No, actually they may not know. So I have recently come through book tour for my 3rd novel, but because I came out during pandemic, I actually found out on tour that I have the distinction of being a COVID author. So even though I have 3 books and a movie now in the world, in some ways I'm actually still a debut, and people are still discovering like the Loveboat Taipei series that I authored. But I, quick backstory, I grew up in Ohio. I was the daughter of immigrants from the Philippines and Indonesia. And I ended up going to Harvard for college, studied government, international relations, thought I was going to go to law school. Well, I went to law school, thought I'd be a lawyer. And I did practice for many years, but I secretly was writing novels for the past 16 years now, I guess. And I published the first novel. It was my 5th novel to be written, but my first to be published in 2020. And that was Loveboat Taipei. It's been adapted to the screen. It came out as Love in Taipei from Paramount Plus. And now it's actually even more widely available on Amazon and Apple TV and YouTube, which is super exciting. So we have had a great time, but it all happened during COVID. So I think that's the craziest part of the experience.
That's wild. It is interesting. Like a lot of the authors that I met that have debuted during COVID, I mean, it does feel like such a different experience from maybe like the quote unquote normal, we get to have to celebrate with the book launch and all that stuff. But how fun, I mean, now going into the 3rd book that you're getting to go on tour and Y'all Fest and you've got a movie. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you. It has been a wild ride.
So how did you get from, secretly writing to having a book out? What was your like querying and submission journey like?
Yeah, well, I joke that I've been rejected more than anyone in literary history. And, people ask, like, how did you get there? I'm like, it's because I tried. It's like Michael Jordan's answer. How did he make so many baskets? Because he tried for so many. And same with Thomas Edison. He has like 4,000 or 2,000 patents. And we really only know him for a couple, right, that have stood the test of time. And I think that's kind of life. Like have to develop a thick skin for rejection. And for me, it wasn't that I had a thick skin so much as I had to keep trying. But I, as I mentioned, I wrote 4 novels and buried 4 novels before writing Loveboat Taipei. So that was my 5th novel. And with each novel, I just kind of kept getting enough hooks, enough bites that just kept me going. So for the very first novel, I was trying to decide about being a law professor, but I had this idea for a fantasy novel swimming around in my head. And my husband was really encouraging. He said, "You're so excited. Why don't you just try it?" And at the time, I found like saying to someone, "Well, you want to build a rocket ship? Why don't you just try it?" Right? It's like, really seriously. I didn't even know I was creative at that point of my life, but I did try it, and the novel just came pouring out of me. And I was like, "Wow, I guess there's something here." So that one I sent out to the world. I got a bunch of rejections. There was one agent who printed it out, hand marked it up, snail mailed it back to me and said, "I really think there's something here." So I revised it for her, and she ultimately turned me down, but said, "Send me your next work." And that agent actually is my agent today, Joe Volpe, which is so fun that we came full circle. But in the interim period, I did end up writing more novels. I did the Vermont College of Fine Arts MFA program, which is like a distance program where I could be on campus 20 days a year, 10 in the summer, 10 in the winter, which I used my vacation time for. And then it was like 20 to 25 hours of exchanging work with my advisor online. So it was actually quite manageable, although it was like a really busy 2 years. And then with Loveboat Taipei, I wrote actually 26 drafts before I figured out the iteration, the version of it that was the one that we see on the shelf today. So then that one sold at auction, and kind of the rest is history from there.
Yes. I was going to ask, did you always want to be a writer? But I heard you mention that you didn't know you were a creative. Can you touch on that a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, I have been journaling since I was 9, and I still use it now as like just a way of kind of getting out my emotions and just processing things. And but I didn't know that I could take it seriously. Although when I look back, I see like I always told stories. I've been telling stories to my brothers and sisters since we were little kids. And actually, I was reflecting on the types of stories. I always told stories about a group of us. Usually, it was the 3 of us plus like our cousins plus a couple friends, and they were called group stories because that was the group. And we would be in a world without adults, like forced to survive on our own. And I thought about like, yeah, that's actually all my books. Loveboat is about kids dropped off in a foreign country in Taipei on their own without parental supervision for the first time, going wild in the best of ways. And then my 4th novel, which is outside the Loveboat universe, it's called Kisses, Codes, and Conspiracies, is also about like a boy, his love interest, left by their parents who go off to Hawaii together to babysit his younger sister. And then his ex-girlfriend shows up on his doorstep with like international thugs on her heels. But it's like, again, like 4 kids forced to like flee and survive in a world without adults. So I guess it was always there in me. I just didn't know that I could tap into it.
I love that. I love when feels like a lot of us at a young age, are storytellers. We just didn't know. And I know for me, I was always, I'm going to say I was pretty bossy about forcing my sisters and siblings and cousins to perform as I wanted them. But I'm glad it worked out. It was like playing with Barbies, but with real human beings. So I apologize to my siblings for forced labor. I shouldn't have done that, but it's good. So I'm so excited so your 3rd book just came out in the series. Can you tell us a little bit about Loveboat Forever?
Yeah, so it follows Pearl Wong, who is a 17-year-old piano prodigy. She's been accepted to this prestigious summer music program in Manhattan, and she's very excited about going. She and her mom go and take these professional photos for her to send to the program to put on their website. And her manager thinks like this is her big breakout moment because there's a whole bunch of like heavy movers and shakers that are going to be part of this summer performance or summer program. And she posts a photo of herself on TikTok that goes viral in a bad way. So she ends up getting like blasted by all these people who are misunderstanding her photo, and she's really confused and she tries to respond, and it just escalates out of control. And the short end of it is that the program gets wind of it and they rescind her offer. They're like, we don't want to be associated with this big mess out there. And she's left with nothing to do for the summer. So she has been getting invitations every year to go on this program nicknamed Loveboat that her older sister went on, Ever Wong. And Loveboat is a real program actually that's been around since the 1960s. Wow. And the Taiwanese government started it to bring diaspora youth back to like their motherland so they could learn about the language and the culture. And parents would send their kids there to also find a spouse. And that's how it got its nickname Loveboat, after the TV show, the American TV show Loveboat, because a lot of romances abounded, and there were also real couples that came out of it. So her older sister goes on this journey in the first novel, which became the film Love in Taipei. And then there's a second novel that follows those fan characters into a new adventure, going back to Taipei for like to take back control of their own futures. And then this third one here is a standalone, so it can be read alone. But it's the younger sister 6 years later getting to go on Loveboat herself. So without anything else to do for her summer, with her plans scuttled, she kind of takes the lifeline that was extended to her, and she goes on Loveboat thinking she's going to lay low for the summer. But of course, Loveboat does not let her lay low.
I love it. I have to say, I did see the movie recently, and it is the most stinking cutest thing of life. Listeners, do yourself a favor. If you have not seen it yet, you need to see it now. It is so cute and heartfelt. And it reminded me of being back. It gave me all the Back at College vibes, which also had a reputation for people meeting like partners there and stuff. So
right.
I didn't know that till later, but yeah, it's a thing.
It definitely is a thing.
Oh, I'm jealous. Now I need to see it, because I honestly, every time I go to the bookstore, I see your books, and I love the covers. They're so beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
They really
are. Janice Sung did all 3 covers, and just beautiful, beautiful work.
Yeah, I mean, it's artwork right on the cover right there. It draws your eye. And so I'm jealous that Melanie has beat me and has seen the movie. But how was this third book in it's a standalone, but in that world, how was it writing this one compared to the other books that you've written?
Yeah, but it was really fun to write against the other books. So Pearl, being the younger sister, had seen her big sister go on the program, and she, of course, knew about its reputation by now. She was there when Mom and Dad got the phone call about Ever's scandalous photos that were released on Loveboat in book 1. And then she also saw that Ever came back like a swan. She went an ugly duckling. She came back a swan, transformed the whole family. And so she goes with hope, actually. She's like, oh, Loveboat changed my sister. Maybe Loveboat can change me. And sure enough, one of the first people she meets is Boy Wonder, like her own Boy Wonder, who is, Ever's love interest in the first book. And so she has just a lot of expectations that was really fun to play with, that I could kind of dive in a little sooner. Like, okay, we know this is a program about romance. We know that Boy Wonder is potentially her lucky ticket to like a happy future. At the same time, she has her own journey. She's a classical musician, and she ends up connecting with 2 musicians. One is the Boy Wonder. One is this other grumpy curmudgeon who she doesn't understand, like, what's his issue. He's a third culture kid who was born in the States, but actually grew up in Taipei. And he has a lot of opinions about Americans and culture and music and like classical music, Western classical music and Chinese music. And so she ends up getting to dig in deeper with him in a way like that her older sister doesn't get to do, because like I feel like the first story was more of like the overall Loveboat story, and then Pearl got to take that journey even deeper.
My gosh, I love it all. Now, I read that you actually were involved in producing the adaptation Love in Taipei. I want to hear everything. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it was really important to my reps and to me, especially because it was an all Asian American cast, except for Megan, the best friend back home. And it hadn't really been done before, an all Asian American young adult novel. It's actually one of the first. There's Crazy Rich Asians, which is an adult story, and that was groundbreaking. And so it was important to get it right, to get the representation right. And so that was partly why. I also wanted to learn to produce because I wanted to move into it myself. So it was kind of like my opportunity to learn everything, and I'm a fast learner. So I was involved in helping to select the screenwriter and like hearing take after take. And then the director I had met previously, who was introduced to me like by another producer prior to me making a decision about producers. So I was thrilled when he came on board. And then casting was really fun. I did defer more to my, the people who had done this before in terms of like, what is castable like talent. But I did help to weigh in on the final decisions. Like we always wanted Ross Butler as Rick. So I was thrilled when he agreed to play it. And he just posted this lovely, lovely account about making the movie on his Instagram account. And then Ashley was a wonderful find. I I helped choose her from among like the final slate, and she really just stood out. She's so talented, has had so much experience for someone so young. She's been acting since she was 10, and she just actually came out in the Hunger Games, the new one that just debuted or just came out in theaters. So that's really fun to have that. And then I was on set the whole time in Taipei. So we filmed at the height of COVID. It was a closed set as a result that we had a COVID test 3 times a week. All the extras that we brought on had to like COVID test in 2 different ways. And I think that just made it a really magical time because it was a protected group. We'd go clubbing together in the city. And we joked that it was kind of like a love boat for the cast themselves, for them to like come and experience Asia for the first time for some of them.
Oh my gosh. That is so freaking magical.
It was magical. Yeah.
I mean, and I'd imagine anything during COVID, right, was this strange, weird, wild experience, but to have it where you guys are all together, gosh, you must feel like bonded for life.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was like we were it's like being in quarantine together, right? We had to come through 2 weeks of quarantine in hotels. And then once we were in Taipei, we were actually able to live normally. And this was actually when the rest of the world was still shut down. So that was actually a wonderful opportunity to be free, and we were free together. So,
oh man. Now, when you first started writing, I mean, did you ever think that you could possibly have a film adaptation? Like, was that a goal that you had in mind?
No, I never knew. Like, I actually joked, I'm not Catholic, but I did give up 1 year for Lent. I gave up fantasy novels and movies because I was like, wow, I'm just so obsessed. I need to stop being so obsessed. And then it's kind of funny, like, you know, I think it's like 7 years later, I was like, actually, I was obsessed for a reason. It's just like, I love it, right? I love stories. I love movies. I didn't know I could have a movie, but I will say that with my my third novel, that it came close at a major publishing house, couldn't get through marketing. That happened with 2 of my novels, actually. And it was a time before Crazy Rich Asians and Hamilton opened up the world, be like, hey, diverse stories can have general audiences. But that one people thought could be a movie. So I was really excited then. I think that's when I got the bug first, because I was with a Hollywood agency and they're like, oh, movie. And, you know, it didn't happen. So with Loveboat, we had the scouts calling right away as soon as we announced the book deal. And I was talking to producers. It was like TV series versus feature film. Is it a musical, like full-fledged, like song and dance? Or are we just going to lean heavily into the dance elements? And I knew, like, at that point, okay, I really want a movie. But my film manager said, you can't actually celebrate till you're in the car driving to the premiere. It's just so hard to make a movie in Hollywood. And so I think because I knew that there was such a high risk, I ended up working on so many other projects, and I have 12 projects that I'm moving forward simultaneously. And that's all because I was like, oh my gosh, I just love this so much. I would love to see like a story on the screen.
Wow. Yeah. Did you say 12?
Did you
12. Say 12? Okay.
I do 12. Yeah, I have more book deals coming. So I have the 4th novel, Kisses, Codes, and Conspiracies, coming from Macmillan in August next year. And then I have a bunch of unannounced projects in the works.
Yes, Queen, slay.
After 10 years of rejection.
Yeah, you've been working. Yes. It didn't just happen. You've been busting your ass.
No overnight success. No overnight success.
That's it right there. And even like as I was listening to you, like it's so the thing. People think it happens overnight, but I was like, wow, like, yeah, you really have been like working nonstop. And this is the other end of that, you know? So yeah, we're just so happy for you and cheering for all your success. It's so wonderful to see the process of books going to movies. Like, did you have a favorite part of the process?
Oh gosh. Well, my favorite scene is probably the sneaking out clubbing, because that was so quintessential Loveboat. Like, there were so many different ways to sneak out. My husband, who also went on Loveboat a few summers before me, he told me about the blue pipe, which appears in the book. It's the kids like sneak over this blue water pipe that extends from campus over the Keeling River to the other side. He and his friends climbed over this pipe. So that I was like, okay, that's amazing. That's going in the book. It couldn't go in the movie because it was too dangerous. And then for the 3rd book, they sneak out clubbing by climbing over the big high wall that surrounds the campus. And that was also another quintessential way. But I think I loved like just all the thought that went into creating the sneaking out scene for the movie itself. It was like, we filmed far more footage that ended up in the actual final film, but that was just so much fun. And like, I think that's the part that I hear from the Loveboat. I'm like, yep, that's exactly how it was. So that's
Yes. It really came through. It definitely, like, I was right there sneaking out with them, like that full like YA angst of like, we're gonna get caught.
yeah, with the guards chasing after you and the counselors chasing you and not really trying to catch you.
I love it. I'm jealous right now. That sounds so freaking fun. So that's cool.
It was a wild ride.
Yeah. Okay. So you have obviously a million things going on. You are just busting your butt. What happens if you are feeling stuck, like creatively? How do you work through that?
Yes, I love to travel. I am a bit of like a travel. I think I've been to 50 countries now, but I spent all of last year in Vienna, Austria. I have my younger child to thank for that because they wanted to study music and composition. So I got to go and be the accompanying parent. And that ended up, and because I knew I was going to come back to film promotion and book promotion, that ended up being my writing retreat. The hours worked out perfectly where like West Coast doesn't wake up till about 5 p.m. And so I had all day long just to write. And then in the afternoons, like go walk around the museums and just see the sights and learn things. And so I think that's where I get the most inspiration. It's just walking around the world and seeing like how different cultures live, how different artists have interpreted their times. And all that's really inspiring to me.
It's so true. Watching other artists do their craft passionately is probably the most inspiring thing to me as well. Like it fills you up with that desire to create.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I want to ask, what do you think the hardest part of this journey so far has been for you?
There have been so many hard things. I think draft 26 of Loveboat Taipei being rejected was the hardest moment. I had also gone out, I was still working at the time, and I was, insecure. Like, did I split myself too thin? I'd taken a smaller legal job. I kind of got buried in my corporation, and I applied for 2 jobs and I came in number 2 for both of them. And at the same time, draft 26 of Loveboat, this 120,000 word tome, was rejected. And I was like, I just did everything wrong. Like, I split myself too thin. I'm not even a good mom, right? Like, there's just like all these things you juggle as a woman, a modern working woman. And yeah, that was my low point. But from there, things changed. I ended up getting a double promotion into a better role than the ones I applied for. And my critique partners came around me and they picked me up, put me back on my feet. And, I was able to revise. I had to scrap all of Loveboat and start it all over again from the ground up. But I came to the right version of it, which is the problem with the first version was it was too many points of view, too much story for one novel. So I switched it all just to Ever's point of view. And then everyone else became a supporting character, but they ended up being fully fleshed out, which is why you see them like so well fleshed out in the film too, I think. And then the reason I got the double promotion was because I had put myself out there. And even though I'd gotten rejected for those 2 jobs, I was discovered into the right job. And that's kind of like my advice to people too, is you just have to keep putting yourself out there. It's back to like Michael Jordan making so many shots. Like, you just have to keep going until like you find the right fit.
Oh, that's so good. That's beautiful, profound advice. And I think it's so timely. I mean, with so many people querying and on submission, and just even once you've got the book out, like you face rejection constantly. You're told no
absolutely.
all the time. So just
don't read your Goodreads reviews.
Stay away. Yeah.
Yes. It is this industry, isn't it, at every point? And I like, it made me a bit emotional how you said like your critique partners like lifted you up, because yeah, we talk about that a lot on the podcast, but that community is like how we continue to do it in the face of like often just a stream of rejection, with little bits of the successes are, they're moments in time, but you're often grinding a lot behind those moments.
Yeah, it's like a writer's life is mostly rejection, which is the same as actors too. They have to audition, and so there's comfort in that. It's just part of the process.
Yeah. What made you want to keep going with Loveboat Taipei in particular? Like, you were on 26. What kept you going? You just felt something called to the book?
Yeah, I think a combination of that. Like, I knew that I was onto something good. It was the first time I actually wrote an Asian American main character. In fact, I say I went off the deep end. I wrote 30 Asian American characters, main characters. And that was the problem, part of the problem. But there was that. I was getting a lot of people saying, well, why don't you like, have you considered self-publishing, or why don't you at least sub to smaller houses or smaller editors within big houses? Because like my agent would only send it to the top editors of the big houses. And I think it was like I was kind of ready to do that. I was like, like I hadn't been ready with the previous books because I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe they're not getting through the gates for a reason. But with this one, and my critique partners had said to me, like, your stuff is good. There's some reason you're not getting through the gates. Like, and I felt like with this one, there was something really there. So if I hadn't gotten it across the finish line with the traditional publishers, I probably would have self-published it.
I reckon that's how I feel that way with one particular project. I'm like, even if it doesn't strike its mark, I know that one. That's the one I would self-publish anyway. And it's so wonderful that like you followed that, because it's hard to know when to let go of it and when to fight for it. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. What do you think the best part has been so far?
Oh, the readers. I love hearing from readers. It's the most rewarding thing ever for them to like have read like these words that I labored to put on the page and the world that I created and the characters, and for them to resonate with it. So I'm just starting to hear back from Loveboat Forever readers, and it just is so mind-blowing. Like, it's a new experience to find out like which passages speak to them most. And someone had posted on social media, like she highlighted the passages around like just Pearl's realizations around social media. You can't have productive conversations on social media. At least that's my take, and that's Pearl's learning. And now that I've said that, I can think of 100 ways to challenge that. But like, that's like, I just like, wow, that spoke to this reader, and that's amazing. So yeah, I think every time a reader tells me that they feel seen, or that they relate, or they feel less alone, it's a little miracle.
That's beautiful. I mean, truly, that's what we do it for, right? Is like that connection. You start writing for yourself, and it's a healing journey, but then when you find people who connect to what you're going through and like your words, it's truly so beautiful and special. So, I mean, congratulations on that. And obviously you're doing rather well with the readers, because as I said before, I see that book everywhere, all of your books. So, so you're doing good. Yeah. Well, we touched on, I mean, you mentioning your advice would be to, just keep going. But we have a question that we love asking, which is, looking back at all you've accomplished, what advice would you give a younger version of yourself before you started this journey?
Well, I grew up a pretty lonely kid in Ohio, for a lot of reasons. And so I have actually often thought back to this one moment. There's this one moment where I was like sitting outside my door crying, and actually I remember someone came off, I was at a hotel, and someone came off the elevator and looked at me and like ran off. But I actually have imagined that moment, like that person coming off the elevator could be me, like an older person coming to that younger child and tell her, like, you're not actually alone. Like one day you will have like thousands, tens of thousands people, millions of people actually who connect with you, right? And you're not by yourself. I think that would mean so much to that girl. But of course, she may not have had the same journey then if she hadn't gone through all that loneliness and that hardship. So I guess if I had to be more realistic, it would be like, just worry less, and that your life will turn out fine. You'll get there to wherever it is you need to get.
Man, that hits. Something I've been thinking a lot about lately. Like, as writers, we tend to be overthinkers. We think a lot. And lately I'm just like, but actually at a point, the answers aren't in your head. It's like just getting out and doing the living and just don't worry about it. Like, it sounds like simple advice, but it's not. Like, it is kind of as simple and as difficult as that. Yeah. I want to ask, what do you do for, like, aside from traveling, like in your day-to-day life, how do you unwind from writing?
I have a hot tub that I love sitting in. I go for walks with our dog and our family every night. The dog, has to be walked. So that's a good way to kind of unwind. We live near a mall, so I love like kind of walking around the mall. And then I used to watch movies. I think I still do, but sometimes watching movies feels like work. So I don't always do that anymore to unwind. But there are certain shows that I love to watch that do kind of let me rest. And that's like Bridgerton. Gosh, that might be it. Just Bridgerton, like my go-to. I watched it over and over again, all three seasons.
Oh man, something about Bridgerton, right? Like there's just something, it just lets you just enjoy it. I don't know what the heck.
So great. Yeah,
it's so
brilliant. Yeah, but I think other shows, like, they can be stressful.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Like, you're gonna get a very happy ending somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I love Bridgerton too, and I know the next season is coming soon, I believe. Fingers crossed. I don't know. Maybe not, but
they're not my favorite characters coming, but you know, I will watch it.
Yeah. I will watch it whenever it happens. I'm ready. Well, I see. Okay, we've got a few minutes left. Do you have like a favorite quote that you either live by, or a favorite quote from one of your books that you could share with us?
Yeah, I love C.S. Lewis's quote, "You've never met a mere mortal," because I think that helps redefine just every interaction that you have with everybody. Sometimes it can be hard if there's an antagonist in your life, but no one you meet is mortal.
Wow, I'm a fan of C.S. Lewis, but I haven't heard which book is that from? I love that. Do you know which book?
Yeah, it's one of his nonfiction ones. Maybe I want to say like Surprised by Joy, maybe, but I'm not sure. It could be The Problem of Pain. I'm probably wrong.
No, it's beautiful. I have to look it up now. But yeah, like it's just been so wonderful having you on and talking about all of this stuff, and seeing the other side of things, the movie side of things, is very cool.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to the whole community, and I love that we're in this together.
Yes, that's it right there. We're all like, what is that from? What's that? High School Musical. We're all in this together. Sorry to quote that. Sorry to quote that. Anytime I hear that phrase, I'm like, start to dance. But yeah, no, truly, like the writing community, the bookish community is so beautiful and special.
It is.
And everybody really does rally around each other. And so you're seeing that with you and your book, and it's all your hard work has really just it's here. You can see it all is manifesting. So congratulations to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and thank you so much for all the work that you guys are doing.
Of course. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, well, it's going to cut us off soon, so we might let you go. And just really appreciate you making the time to come on today.
Same. All right, be well and happy holidays.
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.